Well, good evening, everyone. This is probably better. Good evening. My name is Jim Entz. I'm a professor of art here and the coordinator for Chap, which stands for Cultural Historical Awareness Program, which this is part of. The Porterville College Cultural and Historical Awareness Program was organized in 2002 to enhance students' awareness of important aspects of our society to which they may previously have had little or no exposure. A theme is chosen by Chap members each year. This year's theme is the Anthropocene. Faculty members across campus are encouraged to integrate elements of this theme into their coursework and are encouraged to encourage their students to attend these events. Events such as this with a guest speaker or speakers are offered throughout the year, free and open to the public. Just to look ahead for a moment, next Friday evening in this very room at this very time, 7 to 8, at April 12th, we will have Dr. Isis Frausto Vicencio, an air pollution specialist at the California Air Resources Board, speaking on why measuring methane matters. Please come out and enjoy this free event. And now, please, if you'll take a moment and silence your cell phones, that would be appreciated. And one more bit of information here. The proof of attendance tickets that we have here for students, if you want these for your classes, are going to be handed out at the door over here, probably by me. So this is where you'll find them after the event. Dr. Ramon Blanco Barrera is a Fulbright Scholar in Art, Media, and Social Justice at College of the Sequoias and is known in the art world as 233. This prestigious grant and residency are particularly notable as it is a rarity for community colleges to receive a visiting Fulbright Scholar Award. Out of 75 California awards this year, only 2 were awarded at community colleges, with many going to institutions like Stanford, UC Berkeley, UCLA, and USC. Dr. Blanco Barrera's extensive academic background includes a PhD in Art and Heritage, 2 MAs, and 2 BFAs, highlighting his interdisciplinary approach and commitment to community engagement through art. He is a faculty member at the University of Seville, Spain, in the Department of Fine Arts, and has worked extensively with the Human Rights Research and Education Center at the University of Ottawa in Canada. He also serves as an advisory board member for Emergent Art Space, San Francisco, California. As a social catalyst and artist, he sends social and political messages, typically about justice concepts and values, intended to inspire people to reflect about their communities, both local and universal. Now please welcome Dr. Ramon Blanco Barrera. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everyone here. Today, I will be speaking about graphic installations and social justice. To do that, I'd like to start by the acknowledgements by the end. And to do that, I'd like to highlight what Jean has mentioned already about the Fulbright accomplishment, the Fulbright program. It's one of the most prestigious academic and scientific international exchange program in the world, run by the Department of State of the U.S. government. And every year they bring and send highly recognized scholars from all around the world to conduct research, to teach, to interact with community, sharing a new culture, language, ways of thinking. So that's why I'm very proud and happy to be here at COS, has a Fulbright Scholar in Residence, College of the Sequoias, and then here at Porterville College today, bringing all these works that have been done around the world with you, with the community. It's a really tremendous honor. So Fulbright is simply a great achievement. It's amazing. I mean, many Nobel Prizes have been Fulbrighters before. Many prime ministers and presidents from all around the world has been Fulbrighters before. And this great and unbelievable endeavor was carried out especially by the vision of one person. He's the Dean of Arts and Letters at the College of the Sequoias, and he's Richard Lubin, and that's why I wanted to extend my gratitude to him in front of you guys as well. And also would like to highlight the extraordinary work that the Cultural, Historical and Awareness Program at Porterville College is doing. I know this Chap program is one of the most well-known and interesting programs here. And I just wanted to congratulate, again, share how honored I feel being part of it tonight, and I couldn't be more thrilled and thankful. So thank you, Jim, and thank you all the Chap team for all the work you're doing. Thank you very much for that. Please, a big round of applause to the Chap team here. Of course, I don't want to miss to say thank you to everyone that has been receiving me since I arrived. Thank you, Thad, for all amazing welcome here. Thank you, all the faculty, students. Also, thank you, special thanks to, of course, my university in Seville, COS, Bakersfield College, and other supporters like COS Foundation, and especially today to Porterville College for hanging me here. A special thanks, of course, to this amazing audience that is here today, and if you allow me, and most importantly, thanks to the students and the students who are here today as well, because you make sense of everything that is happening right now. So really, thank you. You're amazing. Great. A big round of applause to you, please. Yeah. Okay, so having said that, I'm going to try to be quickly, because I know we don't have much time, and I got a lot to say, and I would like you also to participate. But having said that, I'd like to share you a little bit of my origin. As you can see, I've always been a very thankful person since I was a kid, very little. That was me. Yeah, looks like, yeah, but it was me. Okay, actually, when I was at primary school, my classmates under secret vote decided to give me this award, Mensajero de Paz diploma. So it's like a diploma, it means messenger of peace, which for me means that I'm a person who cares about each other, who cares about my surrounding, about social issues, right, around me. So I used to play when I was that age and at primary school with these Sahrawi children. I don't know if you see, but this is a Spanish family. But there is one member that is not from that real family, you know. Is this gal here? She's from a place in Africa, the Sahara Desert. Do you know her? Have you heard about it? Okay, so she's from that region. But every summer, she, together with more Sahrawi children, came to our area, our communities, to live with Spanish families. So I grew up playing with those children. When the summer was gone, they disappeared with the summer, right? So, and for me that was very frustrating, and I couldn't understand. I was a child, and I was like, why you are leaving now, you know, or why you disappear now? We are start again the school, so then you disappear. Oh, I'm gonna miss you, you know. You're my friend, and I want you to be with me. So I don't know, something happened there. Okay, eventually, I grew up a little bit more, and I founded an organization called Younglings in Action to help poor people, elderly, and other minorities. At that time, I started to study arts, And to be honest, I couldn't find my way. Right? The program was very focused on the making, but not really on the thinking, on the purposes. Right? Okay. I needed a change to understand. So thanks to an Erasmus program experience, I finished my bachelor's degree in arts by doing the last year in Leicester, United Kingdom. So that's here. Yeah. So in Leicester, it's when I got what I call my artistic awakening. Right? What I consider myself, okay, and then I woke up now in the arts. And this is the piece that I made at the end of the year. As you can see, I climbed the roof, up to the roof, and I was putting all that letters. So it was like a kind of message, right, that I was trying to send. Okay, yeah, so this picture was taken from the last floor, the toppest floor of that building, the building in front of this one, right? It was a 10th floor building, and each floor got like a degree, right? Architecture, another floor was fashion design, another floor was painting, another floor, animation studies, things like that. So every floor was full of windows, right? So everyone could see this piece at that time, but so everyone also could read the message. You can decide, right? But it was a little bit controversial, this piece as well, because it lasted less than 30 minutes. Yeah, it was amazing. Because of health and safety reason. So I didn't know at that time, I was very young. I just, climb up and then put it there and then, disappear. Yeah. So I decided to move from that. I decided to move. You can decide. You can make a difference, right? I decided to move around the world. I decided to merge everything I got, like everything I was feeling that I was, all this caring about each other, all my arts abilities, my critical thinking, and I decided to be myself through the arts without caring about others' perception about me, about myself. I decided to be shown as a social catalyst, and I decided to go by the artist's name using a number, because in the end, I was studying like this, game of numbers. We all are numbers, right? We all have passport, we all have IDs, we all have, and it goes with a given name, but especially with a number, right? So I decided to choose my number. And this number is 233. Because I realized somehow we are in an overpopulated system, and that's what it goes, right? Oh, that was a change. Okay, so you can see right now why it's 233, right? So it's actually, it goes with the capital, the initial of my given name. If you see Ramon, Blanco, Barrera, it goes with the 233. That's why I picked that one. Okay. First project, second actually, that I want to share about. This is 1969, and can you recognize these people? Could you please? Franco, who is, this person here, all right? This is the Spanish dictatorship dictator, sorry, in the last century. And this one here, our future, now past king, Juan Carlos I. So he became king. Okay, so yeah, the person on the left is the Spanish dictator Franco, and that one is the one who became king. So 6 years later of that picture, this was the proclamation of Juan Carlos I, you know, Juan Carlos I, the king of Spain. Okay, so that was in 1975. But what happened also in this year? Something happened, something else in 75. This was 2012. Do you recognize this woman? No, right? Well, if you see, there is she's carrying like a poster saying Sahara just peace, like free for Sahara. Remember Sahara? You know about it? Yeah. So she's like claiming for, I don't know, like freedom for Sahara. Who's that? Okay, so she is a very well-known woman in Spain. She's an actress and she's an activist. Do you know this person? Yes. Most of you, probably, right? No? Someone can say the name? Bardem, Javier Bardem. So actually, he is her son. Here is Bardem with winning the Oscar Award some years ago, right? Let's listen what Bardem can tell us about the Sahara.
You've made a documentary on the plight of the Saharis. What sort of reaction have you had from the Moroccan government?
None. We didn't have any kind of reaction. Actually, one of the issues and one of the goals of the documentary was to have their reaction. And it was impossible. We tried for 4 years in order to put into our documentary their point of view, because we want everybody to be free and talk and give their opinion. And we were always finding ourselves blocked by any of their members of the government, Moroccan government members, or any authorities.
For our viewers who may not know or have heard of the Saharis, just put us in their shoes. Talk to me about their plight.
In Spain, the Sahara was a Spanish colony. Franco, the dictator, dies, and then we escape out of the colony and we let that land to the Moroccans. Once the Morocco take over, they divide the land in two. One, they occupy, of course, the rich part of it, and then they send refugees to Algeria, which are the ones who are living in refugee camps since more than 35 years ago. And in the occupied territories, the Morocco is really, it's well proved that are abusing basic human rights. You cannot allow that for a country that is the president of the United Nations Security Council to be a country that abuses human rights.
Why the very personal interest from you?
I went to this film festival in the refugee camp, the only one that happens in the refugee camp actually, and since then I've been involved with them, and I think it's a very, very right cause to fight, because justice is on their side. Justice should be on their side, and of course it's not.
Both sides, Moroccan forces and the Polisario movement, which is fighting for self-determination referendum for the Saharis, have committed acts of violence. I think we have to be clear about that. Do you side with the Polisario movement? When
we are talking about abuse of human rights in the occupied land, or the way that those hundreds of thousands of people in refugee camps are living, we're not talking about Polisario. We're talking about people are being, as we speak, abused constantly by the Moroccan authorities. In that sense, the Polisario is the only political arm that can fight for those people.
Yeah, you got an idea, right? As myself, Bardem was born and raised under his mother's ideals and thoughts and political concerns about the Western Sahara, it's called, right? So you remember this year, right? 75. So that was the year when the king of Spain got to the power, and yes, that was a Spanish colony at that time. So one of the first things he decided to do, aside from to become a democracy that we have today, was also to retire the Spanish troops from this colony, right, that Spain had in the Western Sahara, without realizing about, leaving all those people alone, to their lack, to their own. So Morocco from the north and Mauritania from the south invaded the place. And this was UN resolutions, United Nations resolutions, official resolutions, saying, like in the 75, saying this resolution deplore Morocco's movement into the territory. If you go up a little bit here, so you see, so mission for the referendum in the Western Sahara. So they are recognizing, so they need a referendum for self-determination, right? This is what you find if you go to Google right now. You see these dashed lines here. So you see this is Morocco, this is North Africa, right? Spain is right here. So you see Morocco, which is with these dashed lines, and then here it goes Western Sahara. Most of the Sahrawi people live in this area, in Algeria, which is refugee camps, right? This is the Western Sahara. As Barden was explaining, this is occupied by Morocco, and this is, like a free territory, but anyone lives there because just the desert, really desert. And this red line is what they it's called the Wall of Shame. It's full of mines. It's a real wall, and and these are the refugee camps. You remember the girl? So she was coming from here. So she is living in these conditions since 1975. Well, actually, she was born here, right? These are the conditions they have, these people. This is a kitchen, actually pretty luxury because it goes with a microwave. It's not very common. This is the bathroom. This that's the shower. That's the company. The shower. Yeah. That's the toilet, And that's a very nice one because otherwise it could be just a hole. You remember? So I decided to do the same, to do exchange. So I went there. So that was me, and this is my Sahrawi family and some other friends too from Spain. So I was there with the people. I was actually going to this refugee camp, Dakhla, right, which is here. And we started to work together to build something meaningful, to express, to send a message, to make people reflect, but also to build bridges, positivity, motivation. And we decided to build like a monument, like a stage. And it was the Western Sahara flag. It was nice because a lot of people were, working together. It was so challenging also because we couldn't find the cans, the painting, because it was a refugee camp. So basically you're more focused on getting the basic food, and the basic stuff. But it was easier to find gasoline rather than find the painting. The lucky thing was this painting was it wasn't water. It was dissolved in chemical. So it went well with the gasoline. So to get more painting, we mix it up with gasoline. So actually we were painting with gasoline. That was and that was the final result, and that was the celebration. It was nice that time. We're so happy for the accomplishment. And actually, if you see the flag on Google Earth at that time, you could see it pointed out this direction. You know, the red triangle. It looks like an arrow pointed out to the legitimate land, or they have or something. So that was that project. Let's move to, where this place is, right? Rio de Janeiro. Okay, so you remember the FIFA World Cup in 2014? It was in Brazil, right? Hosted in Brazil. And then also 2 years later, they got also Rio 2016, which is the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. Okay, so this is the Maracanã Stadium. Have you heard about the Maracanã Stadium? It's one of the most iconic stadiums in the world, and in Latin America is one of the highest and the most amazing stadiums that you can get. Is the Maracanã Stadium in Rio de Janeiro. So this stadium hosted the opening and the closing session for the both events, FIFA World Cup soccer in 2014 and also the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. This is the stadium, okay, and this is the area. So you see all the area around, right? You can see a lot of nice houses here that you can see, small houses here, right? Maybe not so good looking. Okay, you know these people? This is Comando Vermelho. You see CV from Comando Vermelho. This means they are a drug dealers, faction. And this, group of people normally hide themselves and live, and operate in the slum houses, neighborhoods, which is called in Rio de Janeiro, in Brazil, favelas. Have you heard about favelas, this word? So they usually are in those places. So they were in this favela here, which is called Mangueira. This favela, this slum neighborhood known as Mangueira, is right in front of the Maracanã Stadium. Okay, so I went there, worked with people regarding this issue.
During the Olympics opening ceremony, Brazil paid tribute to its favelas. At least 25% of the population live in shanty towns like this one. But not many are seeing the benefits of hosting the Games. In Vila União, hundreds of families were moved to make way for a bus route which shuttles visitors and media to and from venues in Rio. We used to live calmly. Now we're constantly tense. Nobody can sleep. There are lots of killings, shootings, things we didn't see before. And now with these building works going on, things are very tense. Residents are demanding help from the city to repair their homes and improve sanitation, but fear they'll be forgotten. I think that after the Olympics, the authorities might give us a little bit of attention, tricking us because of the elections coming up. But after that, I think they'll abandon us. So many favelas in Rio are abandoned. I think they're just sweeping the rubbish under the rug.
Eu acho que Rio de Janeiro está jogando lixo para baixo do tapete.
Talk of an Olympic legacy in the favelas is met with anger, as the Games, which are costing nearly €11 billion, have done little to improve the lives of Rio's poorest residents.
Yeah, well, at the beginning, when they knew that they were hosting both one of the most, highest events in the world, they were so happy, everyone, because they thought, well, this is going to bring good things to everyone, and it's not gonna leave anyone, aside. But apparently, especially these people who were living in those areas, were experiencing a lot of houses removals, and displacements, very, very far away from the places they were living and that would happen, right? So here you can see better. So this is the favela Mangueira in front of the stadium, and all this area, as you can see, right? All this here was full of those houses here as well, and now it's nothing, right? So that was very controversial. This place is a police department. It's called UPP. UPP means police, peaceful police department, let's say, right? It's a police department that with the main objective to make peace on these Islam neighborhoods, right? Because of the drug dealers and all this stuff. So you can just find this kind of police departments in these areas, not outside. And they were built because of the inside all this program or the plans they got for the Olympics and the FIFA World Cup, right? Trying to, well, what they call later these neighborhoods, these neighbors living here, to clean, to make up, they say. Okay, so here, UPP means, peaceful department, police department, 100 nice project and social projects, and makeup, right? To make up or something. That's a mural was inside the favela. So that's what they feel, right? So we started to work doing some workshops, some lectures, some discussions, open discussions to the public to see what kind of message or things or I don't know, any action we could do to make people think about trying to build bridges, as I say again, for positive results, for positive, things, like trying to build like a safe place and also more caring each other, like a brotherhood or something. So we started to create like this kind of a structure, right? It was also many people involved in the community. They were at the beginning like feeling very weird because it's like a kind of contemporary art, or completely different experience. They are used to it, and so it was really interesting and funny to see how all of us, were understanding this. And so in the end, we hung out all that on top of the favela, as you can see here, with the message integração, which means integration, right? Integration. Let's integrate each other. Let's be more, And you can see this from down the favela, a little bit far away. That was close to the on the stadium. When you go down the stadium, so you could see that on top. Yeah, that's the celebration, of course. Yeah. So that was this project, right? So it was really interesting because during the night you could see that in the stadium around and all this, so you didn't have to go up to see it. But in the morning it was off, so you couldn't see it. It was like this game of visible or invisible, But we got a problem. Because we got a problem in the electric system, and we got something that it cut the electricity, and it appeared like that, right? So it was like this a little bit, Okay, yeah. So it was like doing this. So too bad. Okay, what happened? So it lasted again. So this is just my story of my life. It lasted 3 days. They cut it off, all of it. It was impossible to repair, impossible. So you see, they cut it and that you see the stadium right there. So it was a really nice piece, and everyone was very excited. You remember these guys? The CV? Okay. So, the people, all the, the neighborhood association was very upset about this attack. And they wanted to ask for explanations, and they went to the police department, you know, and they heard that someone saw two policemen on top when that happened, but it doesn't mean that they did it or whatever. They went to ask, and they, of course, they didn't do it, or I mean, they say they didn't do it, but on the other hand, they also say that by the time that it was in this position, the electricity, they were saying that it was like an apology, right? Apology to the drug dealers, to the, you know, so it's apology to, you know, commemorate or something like. So they say it was CV or something. So please, if you can explain to me, you know, the CV here, maybe, well, I don't know. Maybe you have to get a lot of imagination to see CV here. Well, we are a lot of artists here, right? We should have some imagination, but come on, you know. Well, anyway, so that will happen. 2014. You remember this? Some of you, have you heard about it? Charlie Hebdo. Do you know about Charlie Hebdo? Have you heard about it? No? That's Charlie Hebdo. It's a satirical newspaper, right? A French. This was what they published in 2014. I don't know if you remember at that time they were trying to look for. You recognize this person here? Right? One of the most recognized faces nowadays, I would say. So they were trying to catch Bin Laden. And they were, you know, doing this kind of satirical images about that. And look what happened some months later.
Terror in the heart of Paris. Masked and heavily armed, two men entered the building in the centre of the French capital late this morning and began firing. By the time they'd stopped, at least 12 people were dead. Many others were seriously injured. The police were quickly on the scene, only to come under attack themselves. Images posted on social media capture the drama. Eyewitnesses have been describing what they saw.
A neighbour called to warn me that there were armed men in the building and that we had to shut all the doors. And several minutes later there were several shots heard in the building from automatic weapons, firing in all directions. It was really upsetting. You'd think it was a war zone.
Charlie Hebdo, a satirical magazine, has been attacked before. Just over 3 years ago, its premises were firebombed after it published a caricature of the Prophet Muhammad. Shortly after this morning's attack, the French president came to issue a message of defiance on behalf of his nation.
This is an act of an exceptional barbarism that has just happened here in Paris against a newspaper. A newspaper means free speech against journalists who have always endeavored to show that in France you can operate to defend their ideas.
The gunmen escaped in a stolen car. They're now being pursued by the police across Paris. John Brain, BBC News.
So, you know, this came a lot after 11S, right? This was like one of the biggest attacks that the world suffered. This was in France, in Europe, in 2015, right? So everyone was again like a lot of, you know, in the world sadness again, like, you know, like living again, the same like fearness and all this. So I was at that time, well, actually this guy from Al Qaeda recognized the attack, right? And at that time I was living in Canada, and I was doing a research stay at the Human Rights Research and Education Center at the University of Ottawa, and we decided to build something to bring again positivity to people, and because it was a lot of confrontation again, you know, and conflicts in between ethnics, between, you know, religions, between races, between communities. We try to twist that again by doing this project. This project was called the Universal Game, One Flag to Connect Us All. What we basically were doing was bringing all these, you know, flags from all around the world, the nations, all the nations in the world, flags, and cut them, you know, to make them become pieces of a future puzzle. So we were wanted to find like pieces to make a puzzle. So we were, as you can see, doing another kind of controversial action, because this was like a destruction, you know, destruction of the flags. So that's actually, I mean, that was a little bit controversial as well, because, you know, some people could think like, or can feel offended by, you know, cutting your flags, you know, so imagine, right? So yeah, but that was also like a really interesting exercise to overcome your own nation or your own for something good for everyone or something like that, right? So that was the idea, the controversial idea. Do you recognize this flag? Should we maybe, no? Iraq. This is Iraq. And do you know what this means? This means Allah the Great, God the Greatest, right? Okay, so we got part of this piece too. It went on the, well, you see, she's cutting this piece. Actually, it was funny because she's Muslim, and it was very symbolic and poetic. She was cutting that. Okay, so those were all the pieces, and this is when we wanted to be kind of like all these pieces together and trying to build like a really big universal flag for everyone, you know. As you can see, there are also some different symbols, like a heart, you know, for love, a tree for nature, you know, flame for justice too, things like that. Okay, so, well, you remember that piece? It's also was a little bit controversial at that time, because by the time that we were doing that, it was so interesting, so funny, so I don't know, a very nice atmosphere we were creating there. But it was a guy, you know, sitting on a corner, just looking at us doing that, not very happy, you know. And I was wondering what's going on with that guy, you know. I was trying to invite him several times to join, but it was all the time, you know, no. And then at a certain point, I just close by and say, hey, what's going on? Is something uncomfortable? Is something not right? And he say, okay, well, you know what happened? You were putting my God on the ground. You know, my God is in the ground, which is this one. So he was Muslim, and he was concerned about, you know, God, their God being in the ground. So, and that's really uncomfortable and not really good. Okay, and then we came up with an idea. We got like a piece of paper, and we put it underneath this piece. so it wasn't really touching the ground. So it was, like a kind of protection. And suddenly he smiled and said, okay, now, because we didn't want to take that piece away, because it was part of the piece, and it was nice to have his cat here. I mean, that was something interesting too, So all this, eventually in the end, so we took a picture of the results, we digitalized it, and we put it in a very big banner in the whole, beautiful plaza in the university. Everyone could see it in the street, and that was to commemorate the International Human Rights Day in December 10th. So that was the result, and that was the celebration. Again, this is a discussion in Berkeley, right close by. At a certain point, I realized that all these projects that I was involving in, it went with something similar. Like, you can find some things that are like a certain methodology that we were following, the same thing all the time. So in the end, we were trying to frame all that by this name, democratic artworks, or democratic art, current democratic art, because it was all like these kind of art pieces made by people, by a bunch of people, and you never know what's gonna be, because it's something collectively that it can be changing, and that was something beautiful of that. Okay, there is something else even in the UC Berkeley. So you see, that's the main campus of the UC Berkeley, but here, like 3 blocks away, you find what is called People's Park. Have you heard about People's Park? Right? Have you heard about what is happening right now? No? Okay, well, People's Park got a lot of history. That was People's Park some years ago. Okay, as you can see, it's a park, all right, a regular park with a lot of trees and green and beautiful. So many people go there and and have their time. So that goes with a story, because this place was bought by the UC Berkeley in the 60s, right? During the 60s and the 70s, this place was also a place of meeting, of encountering, and it was one of the places that, if you remember Mario Savio, maybe, if you remember the free speech movement in the late 60s, early 70s in the States, and then in the world, this was, as you can see here, there is a stage. That was one of the main part at that time of that movement. I mean, that's important because I'll remember later. Okay, this is the same park just a few years ago. As you can see, it's almost kind of destroyed because it was very controversial, and the UC Berkeley wanted to build here housing for students, and but the community is opposed to that. Okay, so that was the equipment the UC Berkeley was bringing there, trying to build something, but then there was a lot of strong community behind trying to stop that. So we were doing something here again. So we were thinking, because that equipment is very heavy equipment, was there for many months. It was really dangerous for people. It didn't work. It was attacked because they didn't want to let them build anything here, and then just stay there, because the UC Berkeley say that it was very difficult to carry because it was broken, and they didn't find like the proper machinery to take it back. So we thought like to clean it out or put some protections, and and trying to make something beautiful with that, because there were also a lot of children around and it was very dangerous. So we were building, actually wrapping it up, right? Putting like a present, and also building a swing here. So it was a really nice way to turn that around, the message around. So it was kind of interesting, and that was the present, and that was a celebration. You know, the final piece, saying, okay, yeah, well, that's, you know, this is the park, you know, and let's make it beautiful. At least the time we can enjoy it, right? So it was with the UC Berkeley colors. Look at the image, this little girl here, you know, and this we installed also like a plaque. You see, yeah. And it was before and after, and it was the plaque, right? As you can see here, you read, People's Park was listed on the National Register of Historic Places on May 24, 2022. This means it is a significant place to be preserved. And that's the point. That's something really controversial, because it's a part of the history, and they wanted to build something and destroy, and then, well, it's eventually, with this project was exhibited at the UC Berkeley too, in a really huge exhibition that we made there. And that's the park some weeks ago, you know. So they started to build already. You see actually all these, you know, big like walls that they built here, because like to avoid people to come, you know, and sabotage the construction, right? So that's what's going on right there. Okay, and I just wanted to finish like sharing like this project. It's a digital project that I was making together with a lot of people, using images and artworks from all around the world during the pandemic. Because at a certain point, all these works, I mean, it was impossible to do it during the COVID, right? So we were experiencing all that bad, situations that we passed through. It was very a lot of frustration, right? Depression and all these bad things, but also we could get some positive things too, and we got that experience. And so this project was born in that ashes, and then building something new. It's what is called the debug family, which is debug, the opposite way it means copy, right? And it was like a portrait of the experience. Like the planet is ill, then because of the virus, and then it goes, you know, death, but then paper toilet, and then, you know, masks, and then love each other again, and then hugging, and then, you know. So all these stages is like kind of described here through abstract compositions made, as I say, through a lot of, and actually you can see some of them through a lot of images and artworks from many people in the social media that were doing this kind of works during the pandemic. That was really beautiful way also to share that, right? It was like something ironic, like serious paradox with this work, and it was really interesting because all the feedback, the good feedback that I received with that, a lot of people started to get interested in what this means or how this works, and from that, you know, I started to work as well with the including emerging technologies in the class with the students, and that's what we are doing right now actually at COS too. And with BR, trying to build something like that and trying to give classes simultaneously with people in different places in the world with the students, trying to do something like that. So it could be great if we can get that done and invite everyone who, you know, that community can grow and everyone could get in. That would be great. And yeah, but most then, if you wanna know something more about me, so this is a TEDx talk that I gave. It is called The Third Pathway of Knowledge. It's you can see it on YouTube, very easy. Actually, you have here the QR just in case. Yeah, and don't forget, think globally, act locally. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, I don't know if you wanna, you know, any question, comments, whatever. Yes, of course.
What goes through your mind when you feel one of your art pieces like being called is that what you said?
Attacked?
Yeah.
You mean the?
How do you feel about your art pieces being labeled as controversial? Like, what goes through your mind? Does that motivate you to keep doing more art and stuff?
Oh yeah, you mean like any piece, right? When it's controversial.
What goes through your head when that happens? Like, do you want to give up on the project, or do you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Keep going?
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. What's your name? Sorry.
Samuel.
Samuel. Nice to meet you. Thank
Nice
you,
to meet you
Samuel. Thanks for your question. Definitely, absolutely, every single time, always. Always you wanna give back. Always.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool because some people will like if it's something, if you do something and it's labeled something, they just stop, but you keep going. So I think that's really.
Yeah, that actually, yeah, that's, yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to deal. Yeah, but it's a balance all the time, right? Yeah, you could give up. I don't think it's the easiest part to give up. I don't think so. I think it's difficult to give up, and you need to be brave to give up. You know, it's not something like, well, everyone says that it's the easiest part. I don't think it's the easiest part, but on the other hand, I don't give up because I don't think it's the easiest part either. But it's just, what else you're gonna do? Either way, right? So just trying, as you say, trying to keep moving, trying to find another ways maybe, or trying to improve yourself, because it's good to be self-critique and, you know, find what you didn't do well maybe, or trying to be honest and trying to be humble. But yeah, it's difficult. Sometimes you're just feeling tired a little bit, you know. So it's just trying to find the balance. Yeah, that was a really nice question. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi there. My name is Junior. I got a question.
Thank you, Junior. Nice to meet you.
Who or what inspired you to start this journey?
Great. You mean this journey since the beginning?
From day one. From day one.
From day one for me was like what I call the artistic awakening. You remember, like this message that I sent, that was my last year of bachelor degree, and I was like, okay, you know what? You can decide. You really can decide. And then if you're respectful, you know, with each other, with everyone, and then you do things right, or you try, or you think hey, why not, you know? Of course you can change things, why not? Of course you can decide, why not, you know? And that was the beginning, the origin, the real one. I was struggling a lot until that point happened, you know? Because, as I say at the beginning, in the school was very focused more in the making, maybe sometimes, which is good, but I was missing more critical thinking. And I couldn't find myself in the arts or in anything, so I tried to remember what I was when I was a kid. And when I was a kid, I was loving to help each other, to be involved in social things, issues, matters, communities. And then I was realizing that, okay, so that's me really. And why not doing it through the arts, which is what I love. And that was, the beginning of the journey. Yeah, and then the point is how to go one place to another in the world, having the notion of a whole big home that you really have, and not really, feeling like, I don't know, just in one community or another, but you could see the picture in everything. And actually, thank you for the question. Well, thank you. Yeah, it was nice. Any other question? Any other? What's your concern? What's your gonna be?
Well, I think we're close to the time if there's no further questions. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.